Royals baseball today. It's opening day and season number 54 for the Kansas City Royals on a windy one. Opening week is presented by FTX, the official crypto exchange of MLB. It is cold, it is windy, we just had some sleet as the Royals begin a brand new season against the Cleveland Guardians. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. There's a lot of optimism around the Royals this year. It's a brand new season. There's a lot to talk about, but we can't ignore the obvious, and that is the talk of the town, Hud, Bobby Witt Jr.'s big league debut.
Man, I'll tell you what, you got Whit Merrifield leading off and Bobby Witt Jr. hitting second. Be a nice table setter for Salvador Perez and Benintendi and those guys to clean them up. But it's a great moment for any major leaguer who's a young guy who's making his debut. But man, not much more heralded than this one. This young man here, if he's everything that they expect him to be, we could see a Hall of Famer in his first big league game. Who knows? Optimism runs high here, especially with this young talented guy. He can do everything.
How about this transition? The youngest ever to debut on opening day. He'll be at third base, and on the mound, this sounds crazy for those of us who remember him as a 20-year-old, the oldest pitcher to make an opening day start for the Royals, 38-year-old Zack Greinke.
It's incredible. You gotta think about, the things that he's seen, all the things that he's done. He's played, I think it's his 18th year, I believe. So someone with 18 years under your belt, obviously a Hall of Famer.
It'll be a joy to kind of just spend some time with him, be around him, and kind of see, how he operates from day to day.
I think he's gonna be good for a lot of our young pitchers and young starters, but I think he's gonna be a big asset for the squad.
What a career. 18 years, Cy Young winner here in '09. He also finished second one year in the National League, a 6-time All-Star, 6-time Gold Glove winner. That's a very rare combination. And after the long career in the big leagues, Hud, he still has more wins here than he did with any other team.
Oh, you know it. Hey, and plus what he's going to add to those young starters is a big knowledge, man. He's going to help them in a big time.
Opening day 2022. The first pitch is coming up next. Royals baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jack in the Box. Try Jack in the Box popcorn chicken combos for $5.99. Get it classic, spicy, or 50-50. It is a cold one. 46 degrees. We had some sleet a few moments ago. And that wind is coming right out of the north, so that's blowing from left to right. That should help the pitchers with anything in the air from left field to center field. The Cleveland Guardians are managed by Terry Francona in his 10th year. They had a rough year last year offensively. They were in the bottom third in the major leagues in batting average, hits, OPS, and on base percentage. They just signed Jose Ramirez to a 5-year contract extension yesterday, so that gives the fans and Terry Francona some hope for a better year offensively. And they'll be facing Zack Greinke. And for Zack, this is his 32nd career appearance against the Guardians, and the number that stands out more than any other for me, Hud, just 36 walks in 171 innings last year. The Royals need more of that this year.
Oh, you better believe it. StatCast powered by 3D Google Cloud. You got to love it, the arsenal this young man has. Now, his changeup was his best, most effective pitch last season. This is a 205 opponent average off of it. This guy, he can mix them and change speeds and really slow some bats down because he's a master craftsman at changing speeds, especially off his fastball.
And his first pitch and his return is fouled away by Miles Straw. Straw came over in a trade last year from Houston. He had 271 for the year, 285 after coming over to Cleveland. And a ground ball through the right side, and Miles Straw has his first hit of the season.
Defensively, the Royals, where they are very strong. Forward around the horn, Royals defense. Michael A. Taylor, first Gold Glove in his career in center. Benintendi with a gold in left. Witt Merrifield could wear a gold out in right. You never know. It's out there again this year. And how about this? Middle of the combination, but Bobby Witt Jr. is a story at third base. Let's just hope he can get that first ground ball and get that first hit out of the way as soon as possible.
And now a strike to Ahmed Rosario. That's what Rosario did last year in his first year with Cleveland after coming over in the trade with New York that sent Francisco Lindor to the Mets. Back to Greinke, the 6-time Gold Glove winner. A little high to Lopez, but that's a double play, and the Royals led the major leagues in double plays last year.
Oh, man, he hit it to the wrong guy. You can't hit that ball to Greinke anywhere. He wears the gold. Man, was that nicely turned, and that'll help the veteran pitcher in a big way in the first.
So just like that, 2 outs and nobody on to Jose Ramirez. And that's in for a strike. Cleveland fans, after seeing some popular players being traded away the past few years, were worried that Ramirez would be traded away. Many thought he would be, but he signed a 5-year contract extension. Greinke's ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. Phil Cuzzi is the crew chief in his 24th year. Corey Blazer's at first. Mark Rippiger is at second, and Eric Backus is at third. Umpires brought to you by FTX. Into the Gold Glove of Michael A. Taylor. Zach Greinke faces 3, and Bobby Witt Jr. will be making his big league debut at the plate when we come back. A very athletic lineup. The Royals led the major leagues in stolen bases last year. And that man right there led the American League in stolen bases. Whit Merrifield going up against Shane Bieber, who won the Cy Young 2 years ago. He was on his way to that again, at least consideration last year. He was off to a great start, but had some shoulder problems and only made 16 starts. The Royals have never beaten Shane Bieber. And Merrifield pulls it foul over third base coach Vance Wilson. We spent much of last year talking about Witt's consecutive game streak. This is 470 today, extending his Royals record. That'll be out of play off to the right field side, and now he's 48 ahead of Alcides Escobar.
Yeah, amazing, really. I mean, he's the modern day Iron Man. Takes a lot to play 162 games, believe me.
A little half swing and a roller out to Ramirez, who stumbles, and it's just in time for the out.
Batting second, the third baseman, number 7, Bobby Witt Jr.
Well, part of the pregame festivities today included Alex Gordon being on the field, and back in 2007 he had a standing ovation before his first big league at bat, and that was probably going to happen no matter what was going to be thrown on the first pitch. Bobby was probably going to be taking a swing at it, or in this case a half swing.
Why not? Get you something you like.
In the air to right field, the wind will push it some. That's Kwan out there, and there are 2 down.
Perfect tee up there for Stephen Kwan in right field, making his major league debut. Along with Miles Straw, he's a really good center fielder. They got a nice defense, especially with Jose Ramirez, just signed a 5-year extension. Austin Hedges is a real nice back catcher there for them. Bobby Bradley over at first base. They're young.
Two down to Andrew Benintendi, and he'll take outside for ball one.
Great to hear the ovation for Bobby Witt Jr. He's here.
That's a little bit high. 2 balls and no strikes. Benintendi, just like the team, finished strong last year. He had a tremendous final full month. And now he's ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes. And he's done well in the past against Bieber, who might be careful with him here. But Benintendi had 27 RBIs in September. The best single month in that department of his career. 3 balls, 1 strike. And that's hit on the ground to Bradley at first. He'll bobble, and Benintendi will be on with 2 outs. That'll be an error on Bradley.
Yeah, you know, cool day like it is today. You know, that hardens up the leather of the glove. If you don't catch it in the webbing, you're going to have trouble. So guys from the dugout on the Royal side would say he's got frying pan hands. Well, you know what? It's exactly that. And when it's warm, the leather is loose and moist, and it sticks in there, but not today.
So that means Salvi comes up in the first inning with a man on. And that's a strike from Phil Cuzzy. 48 home runs, tying for the major league lead with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It also tied a Royals record. And he led the major leagues with 121 RBIs. That'll be popped up into shallow center. Chang goes out from second base, fighting the wind, and he'll make the play. And at the end of 1, no score.
In left field, and Bobby Witt Jr. back at third base. Not the first member of his family to make his big league debut as a 21-year-old. His father, Bobby Witt Sr., did so April 10th, 1986. I had a chance to talk to Bobby's dad this morning. The family is in town, and there he is, some of that long career for the pitcher, Bobby Witt. Dad said to me this morning that he remembers his debut. It was versus Toronto. Charlie Huff had gotten hurt, and so they pushed him into the rotation at 21. He said, I didn't last very long, only a few innings. I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, 21, straight from Double-A to the big leagues, but he made that team. He said, this is more exciting today because as a parent, you always want what's best for your kid. He said, I'm excited. We're all excited. We're proud. It won't really hit us until he steps on the field. That has now happened. He said if he was a pitcher, I think I'd be a lot more nervous and a wreck right now, but he's having a good time. He said Bobby Witt Jr.'s happy place is on the field, in the locker room, and in the dugout. Guys?
You better believe it. A real ball player. That's exactly what his dad was and what his son is. Congratulations to the Witt family.
And right on cue, his first ground ball is routine, and he's over to Santana to get Franmil Reyes.
All right, check him out. Ready position on the balls of your feet. Look at that, hands out in front, right on top there with a good firm short stroke. And what that is, now he's being a shortstop, he's used to that throw across the diamond. So it's not going to be a problem for him. The shorter your arm swing, the less the ball will move. Stay straight.
Here's Bobby Bradley, and his bat breaks in 2, and Greinke will get to the bag in front of him. That hurts even in July, but even worse on April 7th when it's 47 degrees outside.
Oh man, that hurt all the way up here. Being sawed off myself, but like many a time, especially in the cold like that. Ooh-wee, it'll make those fingers numb. He'll feel that for a little bit here. Greinke will take it, some early count outs.
That is pitch number 12 and strike number 11.
5 outs already. How about that? That's efficiency.
Yu Chang Missed a slider, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. He'll get the first crack at playing second base every day. And that's low. No score at the end of 1. You might remember last year it was 5-5 at the end of 1 on opening day. It was a much different day, warm with the wind blowing out. And the Rangers scored 5 in the first against Keller, and the Royals answered with 5 in the first against Gibson.
Yeah, they did.
And 4 hours and 26 minutes later, the Royals won 14-10.
Man, I remember, and Michael A. Taylor having not 1 but 2 outfield assists. Man, that was an incredible debut for him.
That'll be back and out of play.
You know, the strike thrower that Greinke is, if you're facing him, you like that as a hitter. You like somebody who you know is going to be right around that plate. He's not going to have to facing some young guy that's throwing 98 that's wild. You know, it's a little bit. It really helps the mentality and the psyche of the hitter. Facing a guy like that, you know you're going to get something good to hit.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Yu Chang. Zach's walks per 9 innings pitched last year was 2nd in the American League. Still 2-2. So he needed 11 pitches to get the first 5 outs. And this will be the 8th pitch of this at bat against Yu Chang.
Yu Chang, really great first at bat in his career off of Greinke. Hadn't had one ever.
And a breaking ball had him out in front. Benintendi has a long run, trying to navigate the wind, and he's got it. And Zach begins with 2 scoreless innings. Are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. So we welcome those of you in countries around the world aboard naval ships at sea. We thank you for your service, and we thank you for joining us today on a very windy and cold day in Kansas City with the Royals and the Cleveland Guardians. And no score to the bottom of the 2nd inning with Carlos Santana going up against his former team and nodding to his former teammate.
You don't have to hit a ball on the screws to get one out to right field with that gale. Santana, he knows all about hitting home runs, especially in this ballpark. But last year, Bieber gave up 11 home runs, and 5 of those were off of his 4-seam fastball. So look for a piece of cheese out over and don't miss it.
Santana backs out for a moment. We might have some cloudy pictures with the wind kicking up the water from the water spectacular out there in center field. Darren and Joe are trying to hold their positions out there and give us a steady shot through the mist. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carlos Santana. That is easily the toughest assignment for anyone on our crew today on a day like today.
Whew. Way to go, fellas. Way to bring it to the people.
Fouled back by Carlos Santana, who had a first half last year like the Royals had hoped, and then he played with an injured hip flexor in the 2nd half, and his numbers took quite a dive, and he really struggled against his former team. And that is pulled foul. Good distance, but up into the 2nd tier of the lower level, and it's still 1-2 on Carlos Santana.
That's the one. Wait a tad longer.
That was not a swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is not what Carlos had in mind going up against Cleveland last year. He had 118 with a couple of home runs, and that was in 19 games.
Yeah, a little case of the try too hards, I think. It wasn't just the beginning of the year either. All year he wanted to do so much damage, but sometimes when you try too hard in this game of baseball, it'll backfire on you.
His biggest contribution against Cleveland was with the glove, and one of the few wins that the Royals had against Cleveland last year. Santana made a big play late in the game. The Royals went 5-14 against Cleveland, and at one point last year they lost 11 in a row. Wow. That's the first time the Royals have ever lost that many straight against Cleveland. And Cleveland's won 14 of the last 16 season series with the Royals. So the Royals are thinking about advancing up the American League Central Division standings this year. They need to start figuring out a way to beat these guys.
That's right. They had no trouble against the rest of the teams in the Central, but one day at a time. Santana having a nice at bat here, getting a lot of swings off Bieber. That's usually an advantage to the hitter. Ah, he missed it.
Bradley calls for it, and he's got it. And there's one down in the bottom of the second.
Take a look at Bieber. He's really crafty. I mean, you know, he's a green key with a little more velocity, four-seamer, that knuckle curve, slider. Change-up's been an effective pitch for him. But, you know, the slider and a cutter, but it's the fastball. It's the hanging curve. Those are the ones with the biggest numbers on them. Look up in the zone, try to square it up. Santana, nice at-bat there, just missed.
And now Hunter Dozier. Good to see him laying off that pitch. No balls, one strike. It was opening day last year, which doomed his season when he injured his thumb getting jammed, and he fought that for most of the first half. No balls and two strikes.
No, a bad thumb jam is really in your trouble. I mean, especially that right. That top hand is what feels the most vibration when you hit them off the end. And you're early in the season when you're experiencing that cold weather, it'll just stay irritated, and that's what happened.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
But he sure looked like the Hunter Dozier of old in spring training this year. He wasn't missing. And he was hitting the ball to right field.
Nice, easy swings, using the whole field. The wind will push that and into the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, extremely valuable player for any manager, especially Matheny, though, because he could play 5 positions. So when Matheny comes to the ballpark, gets the report from the athletic training staff about who can play, who can't. Look, you can always use him as your wild card. Put him anywhere, including DH like he is this afternoon. You won't find a humbler guy on the team than this guy right here. Polite, mannerly, just like you want to raise your kid.
That'll be out of play, and held it together, at least in front of the world, through those struggles last year. Now, we don't know what happened behind closed doors and behind the dugout, but he wasn't beating up any water coolers or throwing any helmets or bats, or
right.
I mean, just as if he was just waiting all year patiently to break out of it. And Bieber gets his first strikeout and his second out of the second inning.
Slider, couldn't lay off it. Good late break and had some sink to it. Excellent location.
And Bieber will get his strikeouts. The Royals know all about that. Here's Adalberto Mondesi.
Lot of pressure not on him this year. But hitting down in the order like that, Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, every time Mondesi took the field last year, was all about Mondesi. Man, this guy, he's a 5-tool player. He can do so much, and we know he can. But this year, They're taking the wrappers off of him. Just let him go play. Hopefully showing he can stay healthy.
He look a little slimmed down from last year.
He looks gazelle-like. He can fly. I can't wait to see him put the ball in play. How about just an easy base hit to left field? Nobody on that left side except for Ramirez.
2-2. Monty played in 35 games last year. He was on the injured list with a right oblique, a left hamstring, and a left oblique. 3 up, 3 down. Bieber gets his first 2 strikeouts, and we have no score at the end of 2. Zach Greinke made an opening day start for the Royals. Was 12 years ago against the Tigers. Do you remember Johnny Damon being a Tiger?
No,
I don't. Zach went 6 innings in that game. Gave up just 1 earned run. The Tigers won that game 8-4 with the Tigers scoring late, and there's where he ranks among active pitchers. Only Justin Verlander has more wins. Zach has the most innings and quality starts. That's outside, ball 1. And I mentioned earlier about the rare combination of 6 Gold Gloves and 6 All-Star appearances. The only other big league pitchers to accomplish that in history are Greg Maddux and Bob Gibson. Ooh. High throw. Santana comes down on the bag. Stephen Kwan in his first big league at bat is out 6-3.
Kwan's a contact hitter. He puts the pressure on him. Mondesi, ooh man, just let it air out just a tad. But fortunately, Santana was ready for with his hops.
So Zach gave up a leadoff single to Miles Straw. Now he's set down 6 in a row. And here's Cleveland's catcher Austin Hedges. Fastball's in for a strike.
You know, but just watching Greinke, you know, there's so much that young pitchers can learn from him. Not just about strike 1, but his tempo. Getting the ball up there, doesn't walk around, doesn't posture around, gets that ball up there and gets right on the slab and throws. Keeps the defense on their toes. He knows the athlete he is. Keeps the infielders and outfielders from daydreaming. And they're only human. It happens.
Going with the short sleeves today.
I noticed that from the first inning.
He has been, over the course of his career, whatever pitcher he's wanted to be, and it's easy to forget, but when he was called up as a 20-year-old, he pitched more like this. Mid to upper 80s. He could run it up there to 93, 94, 95 occasionally. Hedges pops it up to the right side. And Santana will make the play. Zach was called up to the big leagues as a 20-year-old in 2004. He had 17 losses in 2005, and then he was away for a while in 2006 for personal reasons. And then he came back as a reliever and was throwing consistently in the mid to upper 90s, and we were thinking, well, maybe he's going to turn into a closer. He made it very clear he wanted to play more than once every 5 days. So there was some discussion about making him a setup guy or a closer just so he could be involved more often, but he ended up going back into the rotation, maintained that velocity, and won the Cy Young in 2009, pitched 1 more year in KC, and then was traded to Milwaukee. But he truly could be, at that time of his career, whatever he wanted to be.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of players like that to come around very often.
Andres Jimenez takes outside.
But, you know, we talk about the cold. You see him, he's allowed to blow on his hand, but also he tucks his pitching fingers up under his armpit there, his left arm. Some guys will put it in their pocket. He doesn't. He keeps it under his arm. It's one of the warmest places you can put your fingers. And that's so important for a pitcher, to be able to manipulate the baseball, to be able to get your grip. And I talked about the leather of the gloves that are on the defense behind him, how the weather makes it hard. Same way with the baseball. The leather on the baseball gets hard, so it's tough to grip. You don't have your great grip, so it's important that for a pitcher especially that he's able to feel his way around a strike zone.
Change up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Zach would throw what you would call a power changeup. There's not a lot of change in velocity between his fastball and his change.
You definitely can see the fading action away to the lefty. It's an excellent pitch. There it was there.
1 man to beat on the left side, and Bobby Witt Jr. guns down Jimenez, showcasing his strong arm, and Zach will congratulate him as he helps Zach to a 1-2-3 third inning.
Ooh, man, look at that ridden troll.
Hey, there's our good buddy, everybody's good buddy. Bob Kendrick is sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game. One of the city's great ambassadors. He has been president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum since 2011. And since then, he has helped orchestrate a nearly $20 million turnaround. There's a line drive and a catch by Rosario off the bat of Michael A. Taylor out in left field. He was with the museum for years before that, and that's when his relationship with Buck O'Neil began, and then he was away, and it just seemed natural for him to come back, and not only doing so but in a greater role. And what an honor it was for him to finally hear that Buck O'Neil was going into Cooperstown.
Yes, it was a special moment, Rhino. I made time to go down there myself just to be a part of that fantastic moment for Kansas City and Buck O'Neil fans all over America. It was great. And Bob Kendrick, he did such a marvelous job fielding all the questions. You couldn't even see him. There was 100 reporters all around him. He was fantastic as always, Rhino, but a real special moment for the city of Kansas City, the Negro League Museum, and Bob Kendrick. Congratulations.
Is there a better day than when we have the salute to the Negro Leagues and Bob Kendrick's up here for an inning?
No.
Telling stories?
No, I saw him down there. We want him up here. We'll get him sometime this season.
One away to Nicky Lopez. He is batting 9th, which gives the Royals another leadoff type hitter in front of Bobby Witt Jr., Benintendi, Perez, Santana. In the first few games of spring training, Mike Matheny had Nicky Lopez batting second and Bobby Witt Jr. down in the batting order. And then that switch was made with Jr. batting second and Nicky hitting 9th. Ooh, there's a called third strike on a wicked curveball, and Bieber has struck out 3 of the last 4.
Man, that's perfect location. What best you could do with that would maybe just foul it off at all, but that's a tough pitch. Great location.
So first time through, the Royals are without a hit. They've had 1 base runner because of an error. There's a fastball strike to Merrifield. He grounded out to third in the first inning. Cleveland has only 1 hit, so we've had a total of 2 base runners. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, a day like this with these 2 former Cy Young Award winners pitching, it could be slim pickings for the offense. But you know, I like how Michael A. Taylor squared that ball up. We've had a couple other, you know, solid contacts here, but it just takes a little bit of time to get through the order once or twice. See if you can pick out one that's mislocated. And if a pitcher's on his game and he don't mislocate, you're in trouble.
There's a base hit. So Witt goes the other way with 2 strikes. And he's on with 2 down.
Beautiful. 4-seam fastball right down the middle. Just got through talking about it. If you wait for the one that's elevated, look at it, he didn't even move, just short to the ball. Great hands, hand-eye coordination. Multi-hit Witt today. We'll see. That's his nickname. multi-hit Witt.
And the most in the major league since 2017, 822. And now 0-1 on Bobby Witt Jr. His first major league at bat was a fly out to right field against Bieber in the first inning, but you could tell he had the right idea against Bieber. He wasn't trying to pull him.
No, and his swing is real simple, and he has a real good lower base, lower half. Doesn't get out in front too much, doesn't stride very far with that stride foot. Looked a little down. Doesn't say a word, gets back in there. He's got a lot of natural talent. High baseball IQ. That means he's well educated in the game. Keeps his hands inside the ball.
Puts the ball in play, and Chang throws him out, but Bobby makes it close at first, and at the end of 3, no score.
Zack Greinke, as advertised, looking good. Look at the first pitch strike, 7, going right after the strike zone. The Guardians, hey, they know what's coming. Sometimes it's hard to hit when it's located where he's putting it. Nice job so far.
And a strike to Miles Straw. So another first pitch strike. And the only hit he's given up is to this batter. Straw single to right field to begin the game, and then Zach set down the next 8. And included was a double play started by him. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little bit outside.
Straw was impressive last year. He looked like he had a real good idea about what he could do. Stayed within himself. Has occasional power, but he stays in the middle of the field and uses his good speed.
Got the call, 2-2. It was an interesting trade because he was the starting center fielder for the Astros, a first place team, and then was traded away. And he did play a little bit better with Cleveland than he did with Houston. He fouls it straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He finished second in the league to Merrifield in stolen bases. He had 30. Witt had 40.
Look at him. He's right up on the plate.
And he has another base hit just past Zach's glove. So Straw singles. Zach retires 8 in a row, and then Straw singles again. Baseball is back now through April 11th. Customers can score free MLB.tv at tmobile.com/MLB. And here's Ahmed Rosario. He grounded back to Greinke, who started a 1-4-3 double play. Rosario is in left field. When Cleveland made the trade with the Mets involving Francisco Lindor, they got 2 shortstops, Rosario and Jimenez. 2 balls and no strikes. And then Cleveland started mixing Rosario in the outfield. Cleveland right now is pretty loaded with middle infielders, and there's quite a bit on their roster. They are very short when it comes to outfielders. So they figure Rosario is athletic enough where they can use him in both roles.
Yeah, but you know, not a typical outfielder, like you said. I mean, sometimes mistakes can happen out there with inexperience.
Straw is running, and he is going to be safe. Salvi threw it down there on a bounce, and that was a nice pick by Nicky Lopez. Second base umpire Mark Rippicher Didn't think that Nicky applied the tag in time.
Well, he stayed with it on the short hop there, big time. That's a tough pick there, especially bouncing close to the cutout of the grass. It did hit the grass. And Straw, you just got to give it to him. He got a better jump.
And among other things that Zach Greinke does well, he manages the running game. 3 balls, 1 strike. Last year, opponents were 7 out of 8. So you might think, well, runner was only thrown out once, but then you think 29 starts and only 8 stolen base attempts the whole year.
That's right. So credit Straw for that. Straw having a good game.
And Zach left that one up, and fortunately Rosario fouled it straight back.
Well, Rosario knows he's going to get something to hit. Greinke's not going to throw one extremely wild off the plate. He's coming right at him.
And that's going to be lined and caught by Nicky Lopez.
There's a defensive run saved. Rosario's having some bad luck. He's hit the ball hard twice, once into a double play, and this one right here to a fully outstretched Nicky Lopez. Getting a little bit of Trevor turf. A little bit of grass on him here. On a beautiful play, saved a run. And Rosario says, rats. Beautiful. No matter where you play him, he's a winner. 107 exit velo off the bat. Nicky flagged it. Beautiful.
And now ball 1 on Jose Ramirez, and suddenly Zach's having a tough time keeping the ball down. And that's outside. 2-0 on Ramirez. He flied out to center field in the first inning.
Already, we've talked about it. The defense of the Royals, how it is airtight. We saw Bobby Witt Jr. making to end the inning, last inning, on a great backhand play from the hole at short. And then Nicky Lopez right here.
Zach has an open base here with 1 out and appears to be pitching Ramirez carefully. Ramirez is taking on a fastball that was up. He was a dead pull hitter last year, Jose Ramirez. And he got him to chase to fill out the count. Franmil Reyes is on deck.
Okay, just enough above the eye level. It looked good, but so hard to square up. Last 2 pitches were up in the zone. Let's see where he comes with this one. He's trying to stay away from him.
Off speed, and that's going to be lined into left center field. So Cleveland will score first. Ramirez is digging for second. He'll have an RBI double, and it's 1-0 in the 4th inning.
That's one of the reasons why they gave him a 5-year extension. He's their veteran as a changeup. Now, you talked about there's not a lot of difference in the speed between the change and the fastball, but this is a veteran hitter here. He's not looking to pull. He's just looking to put it in play and get his team on the board. Now, you think he'd be happy with a single on a day like today? Benintendi had a little bobble there, and he just kept going, kept his head down. He hustles, he runs hard. That's playing the game.
And now 0-1 on Franmil Reyes. Not a bad pitch to a guy who's a dead pull hitter. You can expect either a changeup away to a dead pull hitter. He's going to try and pull it into an out.
Yep. He's pretty talented with a lot of power.
0-2 on Reyes. He grounded out to third his first time up. And Reyes last year, drove in 85, which was a career high. Still 0-2. Blocked by Salvi. No catcher last year had more balls to handle in the dirt than Salvador Perez, and it wasn't even close.
Yep, and then you see all on that left arm there. He's got the game plan on one side of the forearm, and then he's got the device,
Sport Track.
Yeah, Sport Track device that helps give. Now he's seeing what to throw here. Now he's signaling it to the pitcher Greinke, who gets it right on contact. So it eliminates, with the runner on second base, any potential stealing of the signs or location.
And he pushed the right buttons there before that pitch.
That's right.
And that's Zach's first strikeout.
Well, we'll show you the blue KC pitch tracks. It's a beauty. Big curve. That definitely got him off balance. The location was perfect, away from the big fella. Got him a strikeout.
Bobby Bradley pulls it to Santana. He'll take it himself. Cleveland gets one. It could have been two if not for the play by Nicky Lopez. And it's 1-0 Guardians. And it's a great place to hang out with friends and family. Kauffman Stadium. Group tickets are available for single game suites and outdoor party spaces. Just scan the code on the screen to get your tickets and visit royals.com/groups to get started. 1-0 Cleveland on the Jose Ramirez RBI double. Up the left field line and foul off the bat of Benintendi. He reached on an error his first time up. The Royals have one hit so far against Shane Bieber in the first 3 innings. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Bieber's doing a nice job of locating where he wants. He only missed once, and that was out over the middle. That was the base hit that Witt got. Flared it out to right. He's painting it. That's a term used by hitters that come in the dugout after striking. He painted me on that one. That means paint the outside part of the plate.
Three and two on Benintendi.
Benintendi looks really calm. He looks very patient, not jumpy, not over anxious. Saw a lot of pitches that first time up.
Good swing. He goes the other way, and Rosario will make the play. So 1 down to Salvador Perez, and we were talking about his numbers when he batted in the first inning. It was certainly worthy of another Silver Slugger. And Salvi was awarded that before the game today. That was his 4th.
Oh, I remember seeing these swings here. What a year. It was incredible. Now, certainly he's the best hitting catcher. There's no doubt about it. But I can't believe he was 7th in the running in MVP. Are you kidding now, Ohtani? Hey, look, pitching and hitting and doing that whole thing, I understand that. But for a catcher to play in 161 games, tell you, that's a huge, huge year for Salvador Perez. And you got to credit his manager, Mike Matheny, for monitoring his days behind the plate. He mixed him up as a DH, allowed him to rest his body. But look at this. The balls he hit to all over the field, to right field, left field. 4th of July, you're not getting a better fireworks show than that. I'm telling you, the fans loved it. They came to the ballpark to watch Salvi hit a homer. Now, this year, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We just hope for health for the big fella. And his superstar year last year was awesome.
It's an expression saying someone can hit him out foul pole to foul pole, but he truly did last year. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
What a leader. Now, they'll take any offense they can get out of Salvi. But his job this year is to just harness those young starters and get them in that strike zone, call some good games like he can, like he does, and be the steady influence.
Center field and deep into that strong crosswind, so that certainly knocked it down some. So 2 down in the bottom of the 4th inning, and here's a message from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
With our free in-store assembly and pre-assembled grills and smokers, buy online at academy.com and pick up in-store. So keep those grilling plans at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Carlos Santana with 2 down. And that's up into that wind. It's Jimenez out from short, Straw coming in from center, and the Royals go down in order against Bieber in the 4th. Kauffman Stadium for University Day. Receive an exclusive jersey of your choice with a theme ticket purchase. Just scan the code on the screen to get your tickets and visit royals.com/theme for details. And through the rain, you saw members of the KU Jayhawks who are still in the afterglow of the national championship celebration. They brought the party, some of them at least, to Kauffman Stadium today.
Fantastic. Congratulations to them.
Only in Kansas City, over the course of 30 seconds, can you go through some driving rain to sunshine.
It's amazing.
Chang hits it to center field, and now Taylor suddenly has to battle the sun. I mean, people were running out of their seats thinking the world was coming to an end there for a while when the rain came down, and then before they could get to the concourse, Michael A. Taylor has to shade his eyes from the sun.
No, I was talking to longtime groundskeeper Trevor Vance before the game, or actually yesterday, the workout, and said, Trevor, your field looks great. He goes, oh man, Hud, I don't know how we got through that lousy month of March, but it was rough here. You got to spend a lot of that in Arizona. It was, but you were here enough for some of that cold and then hot, and we had an 80-degree day. The next day was 30. I mean, you know, it's crazy.
One away to Stephen Kwan making his big league debut. He grounded out to short his first time up. (2-0).
Young man Kwan making his major league debut today, looking for his first big league hit. He's a contact machine. I mean, he rarely strikes out. He has a knack to find the barrel and put it in play. Rarely sees a tough strikeout. Didn't strike out one time this spring.
Cleveland drafted him out of Oregon State back in 2018 in the 5th round.
Just upright. He can't stand any straighter.
Cleveland had a really, I think awkward is probably the best word, awkward year. They had a lot of players this past offseason that they had to make a decision about whether they're going to put them on the roster or not, and they added 11 players onto the roster because they don't want to lose players to the Rule 5 draft. Well, who knew there would be no Rule 5 draft? So suddenly they have all these roster players and didn't want to risk losing some of them by taking them off the roster to bring in a temporary free agent for a year or two. So That's opened up some big league opportunities for guys like Stephen Kwan.
Yep. And you'll take them any way you can get them. Opportunities.
That's Greinke's first walk, and 1-on-1 out for Austin Hedges. He popped out to first in the third inning.
Greinke's fallen behind last few hitters in that last inning. Going to 3-ball counts, having to work back into the count.
Cleveland's only run was set up by a stolen base by Miles Straw, and while Cleveland didn't do much last year offensively, they did run. They were second to the Royals in the league in stolen bases, and that's one of the key plays right now, that stolen base to get into scoring position for Ramirez. 1-1 on Hedges. And we pointed out that it's difficult just to attempt a stolen base against Zach Greinke.
Well, he varies his times home. You know, he's going to hold it a little bit longer sometimes, and then other times he'll quick pitch. Kwan's got good speed.
You can score a free 6-pack of Pepsi mini cans from Price Chopper and Pepsi when a Royals catcher or pitcher picks off a base runner. Offer is good with a $25 purchase. Learn more at mypricechopper.com/pickoff. Two and two on Austin Hedges. Past Zach, close at second, and Santana didn't have it stick in the leather, so no double play. When that ball was hit, it looked like the Royals might be fortunate to get one out, and they almost ended up with two.
Yep, Hedges being the catcher, they had a chance on the back end, but Mondesi could not get the throw up out of the dirt. Nice feed to start the out there. Mondesi just, so far, his 2 throws today have been off the mark. He had a perfect lane to throw him and get the out, the double play, and save some pitches for Greinke.
Last year the Royals turned 152 double plays, the most in the major leagues. Nice. And they got one in the first inning today. Andres Jimenez takes outside for ball 1. He was out on a nice play by Bobby Witt Jr. in the third inning. Late. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, 4-seam fastball there was clocked at 86 miles an hour. So Greinke will go 86 to 89, depending on what he wants to do. But he'll also go around 84, 85 with that fastball. So he and that frustrates a hitter more than any other pitch. A change of speed off of a fastball. They'll go, because the hitter goes back to the dugout, and the other hitters will go, "What was that?" He'll go, "It was straight, but I couldn't hit it." Just you know, just the change of speed. So many variations off the fastball. That's why it's the greatest pitch in the game.
Back to Zach, and that's the inning. Presented by FTX, the official crypto exchange of MLB. We've had a little bit of everything today. It was windy with some sleet right around first pitch. It's been windy since this morning. We've had a mixture of clouds and some sunshine. We've had some rain. A much better day to pitch than hit, and it's 1-0 Cleveland in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cleveland has 3 hits. The Royals have 1 against Shane Bieber. It'll be Hunter Dozier, Adalberto Mondesi, and Michael A. Taylor in the 5th inning. Dozier struck out in a breaking ball in the 2nd. Bieber has struck out 3, and he did that against 4 hitters in the 2nd and 3rd innings. This is his 3rd opening day start. Dozier hits it to left field, and Rosario now goes into left center, and he's going to drop it. Dozier was running hard, and he rounded second, but he'll hold. And at no point, at least from my perspective, did Ahmad Rosario look comfortable with that fly ball.
No, he didn't. And I'm going to give Dozier a double on that. You know what? I mean, we'll see what the official score says, but it is so difficult to play that outfield with a 30-mile-an-hour wind and trying to focus with the cold air blowing in your eyes. Look, he deserved that hit.
And not being a natural outfielder. I mean, that's hard for a guy who's been playing it his whole life, let alone a guy who's still learning to play the outfield. Now let's see what Mondesi does.
Pick him up here. Good job. Now Dozier thought about going for 3rd, but with nobody out, you don't want to make the first out at 3rd. You're already in scoring position. So nice job there of holding it back. Whoa, boy, good job.
And now Mondi takes outside. 2-0. Let's go to Joel.
Ryan, we've talked so much about Adalberto Mondesi staying healthy. There's also just the aspect of being positive, keeping your head up, and he has a great influence and mentor in Carlos Santana. Carlos telling me that the final day of spring training, the 2 of them spent a good hour and a half talking in the batting cage. Carlos loves the mentoring role. He said he has been able to do that for a Francisco Lindor, especially once he moved on to New York and had some troubles with the media. Did the same with Jose Ramirez as he was looking for a new contract in Cleveland, and the same for Adalberto Mondesi. He said very much what we hear Hud say all the time. He said no matter what is happening, you have to keep your chin up. You can't let the other team see that you're struggling or you're down on yourself. I tell Mondi all the time, keep that chin up. Don't worry about it. Keep pushing forward. That's something he wants to continue working on with him, guys.
Oh, yeah, Joe, great report. Body language, the premium language that's spoken in this game. And no words are thrown around out there. You never see a pitcher and a batter talk. Once in a while, you might see a little bit of banter going on there. But so when you carry yourself like you're down and your head's rolling and you're dragging to the plate, the opponents are saying, I got you.
Mondesi is down on strikes. So Bieber comes back after falling behind. That is his 4th strikeout. Brian Shaw begins a warm-up in the Cleveland pen.
Would have been nice to see Mondesi bun him over even. I mean, with his speed, he could get a base hit on it. You know, Mondesi didn't look like he's just trying to pull a little bit here. He just want to put the ball in play and move the runner, advance the runner with nobody out, but he wasn't able to do it. See if Michael A. Taylor can pick him up right here.
Taylor lined to left his first time up, swinging at a first pitch. That's in for a strike.
He was right on the nose with that swing. He gets underneath that about a 1/4 of an inch more, might have had a homer for sure, even with that crosswind.
Hedges on a pitch that landed about 5 feet in front of him, blocks it and keeps it in front of him.
That's one of Hedges' signature blocks right there. He's really good at moving his body into position and doing exactly what he wanted to do. Keep that ball in front of you. Nice job. Runner advances to 3rd base. Higher percentage of scoring the runner from 3rd.
Jimenez makes a one-hand grab, so Dozier still at second base with 2 down. Mentioned that this is Bieber's 3rd consecutive opening day start. His first one was against the Royals in 2020, and he struck out 14. And then last year on opening day, he struck out 12. He has struck out 4 so far today, but the one in this inning is his biggest after Dozier was at second with nobody out. And now he's gotten Taylor to pop out. Dozier's out there with 2 away. Nicky Lopez took a called 3rd strike against Bieber his first time up. Nicky hits it well into left center field. Straw on the run from center, and some confusion. The ball will drop and the Royals will tie the game. So we've had a drop ball or a misplay for a double, and then HUD 2 guys out in left center field who look like they haven't played together very much.
No, and they haven't, and they're going to see a lot more of that this year, especially in this big ballpark. You couldn't have placed it any better. Straw looking at the left fielder. No, it's not going to happen. Too much wind, and Rosario, the left fielder, was in very shallow, so he was never going to get to it. Well placed ball. The Royals tie it up. Let's see if Witt can push him ahead here. And that's going to be it for Bieber. You know, it's great to see Terry Francona walking to the mound. Not just because we're a Royals and we're taking his ace out. It's the fact that he's healthy. He's able to be out there and actually walk to the mound. We're so proud of him and wish him continued health.
We'll talk more about that when we come back. Here's Brian Shaw.
Breezy day, 25 to 30 mile an hour winds. You never know. Run the ball out, and our guys did. Here it was, Dozier leading off the inning. He kept going. He's thought about going to 3rd, and then Nicky Lopez says, "I'm going to place one out there just for it." Where he was, Rosario way shallow. Straw kind of gave up on it at the end there, but the ball was well placed. Bieber's out of the game, and we got a tie ball game. 3 hits apiece, and 1 run crossing the dish for each team.
Brian Shaw returned to Cleveland last year. Here's his numbers. He's a Chevy call to the bullpen. He is a rubber-armed righty, and he threw in 81 games last year. And he misses high. Ball 1-2. Witt Merrifield.
Yeah, he moves that ball around. He's a cutter guy. All cutters almost. You got a curve, fastball cutter. He's the only veteran in their bullpen, which could hurt the Cleveland Indians. Typically with a strong bullpen. They don't have the same bullpen they've had in the years past.
They were 3rd in the league last year in bullpen ERA.
Yes. Always been a staple for Francona's teams. Witt always chokes up about an inch on the bat. Allows him to be able to handle that bat no matter where, inside, outside. Ooh. Missed him the one there. Good swing.
Just want to finish the thought on what HUD said before the break. Terry Francona last year had to leave his team at the end of July after hip and foot surgery. The year before, he had to leave in August. He had some blood clots in his leg, so that's what HUD was talking about. Good to see him on his feet
and walking without a limp.
Yep.
He's happy, thrilled to be back.
And Witt is down on strikes. The inning is over, but the Royals, with some help from Mother Nature, get a couple of doubles and tie the game.
You want the signature Royals defense, you got it. Early on, Greinke, a comebacker, turns 2 there. But look at this play by Witt. Awesome. Didn't even move his feet, just showed off the arm. You want Nicky Lopez saving a run? There you go. He's over at second on the other side of the diamond this year. Fantastic defense. We're going to see a whole season of that, folks. And that's going to help the pitchers save their pitch count, save runs. It helps you win games. That's the bottom line.
Here's Miles Straw, who's been a true leadoff hitter today. This is the 3rd time he has led off an inning. He singled and was part of a double play in the first, and then he singled. He stole second and scored on Ramirez double in the fourth. Didn't get a full swing, and Taylor will make the play in center field, one away.
Well, Straw was enjoying that 1,000 batting average he had. It won't be the same ever again.
Colin Snyder is warming up on the left. Jake Brent's on the right. Zach's next pitch will be number 75. And now Rosario, who has grounded into a double play, and he was the hitter who lined out on that great play by Lopez, so he's lost an RBI, and then his misadventures in left field last half inning helped the Royals tie the game. And he's down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. One and two to change the eye level.
There was a time in baseball where when they didn't care about the pitch count, 0-2, you got brushed back every pitch. But nowadays they're so into the pitch count and not wasting any pitches. It's good to see that old style there of Grink. You see it opens up the outside part of the plate. Salvi liked it. Go in hard in, and sometimes you can get him away.
You might get thrown out today if you go up and in on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, or bench warning or something.
Lined into right field. Rosario's on with 1 out. So 1 on, 1 out, and here's a message from Jack in the Box.
Pop my $5.99 classic and spicy 50-50 popcorn chicken combo. Order on the Jack app today.
Strike 1 on Jose Ramirez. We were talking about him being a dead pull hitter last year, especially hitting for power, and then with 2 strikes in his last at bat, Zach threw a changeup down and away, and Ramirez went the other way and drove in the Cleveland run. And now he's way out in front, and it's 0-2. 70-mile-an-hour curveball.
Yeah, that'll mess your timing up. You know,
and he can go slower than that.
Yeah, you know, he has known to throw an eephus pitch, is what they called it back in the day. But that pitch there alone, you can get a guy to swing like Ramirez just did. Now that opens up the plate for you. Doesn't have to be anything too good right here. Let's see what he throws him. You're going to stay away from him.
And he goes the other way again, slicing over toward Benintendi, and he'll run it down. 2 away. So that ended up being a dangerous pitch on an 0-2.
A little too good.
And now Zach will get Franmil Reyes, and he struck him out with a slow curveball back in the 4th inning. The only thing I remember about Zach's big league debut in 04 at Oakland was a slow curveball that he threw to Eric Chavez with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and the count 3-2. So here's a 20-year-old facing a good team, and one of the elite left-hand batters in the game at that time, and thinking, okay, well, let's see what the kid's going to do here. And we figured he's going to try and blow him away, right? I mean, that's what any young kid would do. And he flips a big slow curve, and you could tell Eric Chavez tried to reload about 7 times to stay back and grounded out to second base. Nicky Lopez won't get that one. That's into right center field. That'll get Rosario to third. And Cleveland has runners with at the corners with 2 down, and everybody was just blown away that he would have the guts to throw that pitch for the first time in his big league career in that situation.
Yeah, that takes a lot of courage.
And that'll put an end to Zach's afternoon, likely with a left-hand hitter Bobby Bradley coming up. Jake Brentz is at the gate, just waiting for the official call, and now he's got it. And now the crowd here today can express their appreciation of Zach's effort today.
Greinke did not disappoint this afternoon. Now, before the game, if he could go 6 innings, that would be excellent. He fell 1 out shy of that. A little comeback or double play. The Gold Glover had no trouble with that, using his defense, putting the ball where he wants it for the most part. He'll take it. His outing is his 1 strikeout with a big curveball in the outer half. He left, scores tied. Fans gave him a nice ovation and hands the ball to young Jake Brentz, a left-hander that can throw some gas.
And he made his big league debut last year in the Royals' 2nd game of the season and went on to pitch 72 games. So he's a Chevy call to the bullpen, and Cleveland will counter. Bobby Bradley, a left-hand batter, was the scheduled hitter, but it'll be a right-hand hitter, Owen Miller, with 204 in 60 games last year, and he'll bat with runners at first and third and 2 down. Rosario's at third, Reyes is at first.
Miller's a solid contact hitter. He's going to put the ball in play most of the time. He's got a pretty good knack. Brent's good hard fastball.
96 is inside for ball 1.
That's right. He'll mix in a slider with that.
The wind has really picked up now. And that's way outside. 2-0. I mean, the flag poles are doing everything they can to hang on to the flags. And now we have just a slight drizzle, which is bringing in the always dreaded sideways rain.
Yeah, it's not good for either performer, pitcher or the hitter or the fielders.
Here's a good fastball over the inside edge. 2-1 on Miller.
Jake Brentz really stood up last year. I mean, you know, this was an amazing year for him. You know, he battled control for most of it early in his career, and when Matheny brought him in this year or last season, he started pumping that strike zone, and we saw some upper 90s fastballs, and was able to get out of some big jams for some starters.
Three balls and 1 strike. And there was a relationship that Jake Brentz had with Mike Matheny prior to last year. Jake growing up in the St. Louis area. And Miller will take a walk, and Cleveland has the bases loaded with 2 down. Here's a message from Minsky's.
You made dinner. It's Minsky's.
Let's have a slice.
Minsky's.
What was the final tally on your pizza last year, the HUD?
Oh, well, it started out hot and then it kind of fizzled as you go. Kind of like the story of my career. But which sure is a great product.
Fastball for a strike to Yu Chang. He is 0 for 2.
This guy, Yu Chang, he's impressive, man. He puts that ball in play. Hits to all fields. He's got some power. He's a really nice young talent.
Another good pitch. Through a twist of fate, Jake Brentz, after he became a minor leaguer, became an off-season throwing partner with Trevor Rosenthal when he was with the Cardinals, and Mike Matheny would drop by and watch him, and they got to know each other. And Jake also knew Mike's sons Luke and Tate. Little bit inside. Good spot.
Sure was. And you see that wind, and you see the hitter wincing like that. It's so tough for the cold breeze blowing in your eyes like that. Your eyes water up. This is the worst condition for a hitter that you can be in. Cold, windy, and some rain. Make a pitch.
Had a swing. Yes. So Brentz finishes off Cleveland in the top of the 6th inning with the bases loaded. And we're still tied at 1.
Beautiful.
Next slam inning, our contestant today is Jesse Steckline from Overland Park. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Jesse wins $100. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jesse wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Check the Ballpark app for more information on how to become a Sonic Slam contestant this season. Bobby Witt Jr., Andrew Benintendi, and Salvador Perez against Tristan McKenzie, who made all but one of his appearances as a starter last year, and this year he'll begin the season out of the bullpen.
And real nice fastball, mid-90s, slider, curve change. He's got all the repertoire. And what a perfect time for Bobby Witt Jr. to get his first big league hit.
With Miller batting for Bobby Bradley, there are a lot of changes, a lot of moving around, and that's distracting for Bobby to have a napkin floating around in front of him as McKenzie comes in at 92 miles an hour. He is flied out to right field and grounded to second. And now it's 0-2. Oscar Mercado has come into the game in left field. He's more of a natural outfielder. Rosario, who was in left, comes into short. Jimenez goes to second, and Chang goes to first. 1-2 on Bobby Witt Jr. Did he go? No swing. 2-2. Grounded right to Rosario, who is shifted in from left field, and he'll throw out Bobby for the first out of the 6th inning. We hope to see you here at Kauffman Stadium for a fun day every year, School Day at the K. That's April 21st, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors and hosted by KSHB 41. Scan the code on the screen to get your tickets and visit Royals.com/schoolday for details.
Glad to see that day back. That's always great to see. Pull up and see all the school buses out in front of the K and all the youngsters learning about the weather.
Benintendi has reached on an air and lined to left. Ouch. Especially on a day like today. And he already has a big shin guard and ankle guard on that right leg.
Yeah, those inside pitches like that, that's why he wears it, and it just missed it. It hit below the protector, and that's really painful. He didn't need that.
Tristan McKenzie. The Royals got to him late in the year last year when he was really on a roll as a starter. That was in late September. That's low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McKenzie, over the course of 6 starts, had a 1.38 ERA. But then the Royals had 9 hits and 3 home runs against him in late September. And he was really tough on the Royals before that. And there's a fastball that's ruled low. Hedges was convinced that was a strike, and it's been mostly a pitcher-friendly strike zone presented by Phil Cuzzi today.
Yeah, and those last 2 were really close. Could have went either way.
And now 3 balls and 2 strikes. To left field, Mercado is out there, and he'll make the play. 2 down. Step up your pregame routine with the Rally. Your favorite athletes and the top insiders in sports bring you an all-new experience. So watch the Rally every weekday on Bally Sports, Kansas City.
It's always a rude awakening coming from Arizona, where it's nice, 75 to 90 degrees. The ball flies out of the ballparks, a lot of offense, and then you come to opening day, and it is a tough chance for hitters.
Kwan comes in from right field to make the play, and the Royals go down in order against McKenzie. A much different opening day compared to last year when the Royals won 14-10. It was a warmer day to begin, and it's been cold and windy all day today to the advantage of the pitchers, and it's 1-1 to the 7th inning. Zach Greinke gave up 1 run in 5 2/3 innings. Shane Bieber gave up 1 run in 4 2/3 innings. Jake Brentz came on in relief of Greinke to get the final out of the 6th. And in the 7th, he'll get the lower third of the order. And Stephen Kwan takes outside, ball 1. Kwan is making his big league debut today. He is grounded out to short and walked, and that was Zach's only walk in his 5 2/3 innings. .95 is in for a strike, 1-1. Brentz came on with 2 on and 2 out. He walked pinch hitter Owen Miller, but then buckled down and struck out Yu Chang to end the inning with the bases loaded. 2 balls, 1 strike. In on his hands, and that'll be out of play. Royals, at least on paper today, have 4 lefties available in the bullpen. Brentz, Gabe Spire, Daniel Lynch for now, and Amir Garrett He came over in a trade during spring training.
It's great to have an even balance of lefties and righties. Doesn't always work out that way.
Here's our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. And early in spring training, Tyler Zuber went on the injured list with a right shoulder impingement. He pitched in 54 games over the previous 2 years. And that's outside for a leadoff walk to Kwan. And now Josh Stamont begins to warm up in the Royals bullpen. Austin Hedges is 0 for 2. And he chased the slider. Jake Brentz is on a significant list of Royals players who really benefited from the alternate side a couple of years ago. While most minor leaguers didn't get a chance to play because of the pandemic, the select group was able to at least train and compete during that short major league season, 60-game season. And the final outcome for a lot of guys who needed to get back on track, hitters or pitchers, was the ability to compete against high-level minor leaguers or major leaguers and try something new, work on something that they needed to fix or something they needed to add without the pressure of their numbers suffering. And for Jake Brentz, it was becoming a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball slider for most of his career. But Paul Gibson, the Royals director of pitching performance, just insisted that he throw his changeup over and over again in those alternate side games. And so that was a nice compliment to go with his mid-90s fastball. And as a result, Jake pitched in his first 72 big league games last year.
Sure does, or sure did. He was very reliable. And now we haven't seen a lot of changeups today. He's coming right at him, fastball slider. He needs to get in there now, though. Putting more guys on.
Here's a slider.
Kind of buckled Hedges a little bit there.
Three balls, 2 strikes. So Brentz is facing his 4th hitter. He has walked a man, struck out a man, and then has issued a walk in this inning, and now 3-2 on Hedges, who's never been known for his hitting. So you definitely want to throw him a strike and make him put the ball in play.
Exactly.
And he does. And it's into shallow left field for Benintendi. 1 away. Jake Brentz also talked last year about just how the difference in communication with the Royals compared to his previous organizations made a world of difference for him. And that was a guy with a big arm has been told his whole career, don't walk anybody. Throw strikes, don't walk anybody. So he's got this negative thought in his mind about what he can't do, whereas last year the Royals preached more what he can do.
Yeah.
And essentially told him, look, you're going to walk guys every now and then. That's just the type of pitch you are. However, this is what you can do. Think about what you can do instead of worrying all the time about what you shouldn't do.
Yeah, positive reinforcement. And you know what? It's a lot like parenting kids. And you look at most successful managers and you'll look at their past and you'll say they're successful dads too, like Matheny. Matheny, all his kids, he's got grandkids now, 5 kids he's got. You know, he's done an excellent job, knows how to handle young players.
One and one on Jimenez, and I guess the same would go for his pitching coach Cal Eldred, who has 5 kids.
Yeah, how about that?
And both Mike and Cal have had sons play in professional baseball. On the edge, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jimenez.
Great spot. Salvi taking a peek down there at Kwan making his major league debut. He has stolen a few bases in the minors. He's got good speed, but it hasn't translated to stolen bases. And that just takes time. Getting on base, getting confidence. Brinson, Salvi, they're keeping a close eye on him.
And a stolen base today has been huge for Cleveland. That was Miles Straw back in the 4th inning, getting into scoring position, and then Jose Ramirez drove him home. And these are the top 2 teams in the American League last year in stolen bases, with the Royals leading both leagues, and Cleveland finishing second to the Royals in the American League. That's going to skip by Salvi and go to the screen, and that'll get Kwan to second base with 1 out.
A little bit short there. Salvi doing all he could to get his glove out there to stop it, but sometimes you don't know where that ball's going to bounce. Nice effort.
Popped up, and Jr. waits for it and makes the play. 2 down. And here comes Mike Matheny. So Miles Straw, who's already had a good day at the plate with 2 hits, a stolen base, and a run scored. He's a right-hand batter, and Josh Stamon is warmed up and ready to go. And we will have a pitching change with a runner at second and 2 down in the 7th. Bring your furry friend to Kauffman Stadium for the first Bark at the Park of the season on April 19th. Fans who purchase a Bark at the Park 4-game pack this season will receive special gifts for your dog. Scan the code on the screen to get your tickets and visit Royals.com/bark for details. So just to clarify, Hud, your furry friend has to be a dog.
Okay, thanks for telling me.
Josh Stamon ended up with good numbers last year, Hud. 64 games and a 2.88 ERA. 72 strikeouts in 65 innings, but I felt last year without the velocity he had the year before, he had to use his breaking ball more and become more of a complete pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to continue to evolve. You know, typically young guys come in, especially that can throw 100. You know, that's not going to last very long because it's not about the velocity. Because big league hitters, if you misplace that 100, it can get hit the same. It's about getting out, upsetting the timing. And Stamon has 2 really good pitches with the fastball curveball combination. Now, the one thing that kind of hurt him a little bit in his defense is he takes so long in between pitches to try to focus on his target and all that. Sometimes can be a little bit rough for the defense back there, but he's got the goods to get out of this inning here.
96 is in for a strike to Miles Straw. I think I read something today about, you know, there's some changes in the minor leagues trying to experiment with different things to speed up the game, but I saw that the commissioner made a comment that a pitch clock eventually is a high priority for the owners. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, and I think that's going to work. The little tweaks that they're trying to make in the game are to try to better the game and make it quicker and a little bit easier to watch.
Well, he's not looking in for a sign. Salvi's using the Sport Track gizmo.
And that's going to help. He's already picked up his time in between pitches.
1-2. If you haven't heard the details about Sport Track, and we're still learning about it, the catcher, or in some cases the pitcher, we've heard, but at least now for the catcher, Salvi has a dial there, and he'll press a combination of numbers. One will be the type of pitch, the other one will be the location, and then in Staumant's hat is a receiver, and he hears the pre-recorded voice of bench coach Pedro Grifol, who's bilingual, just so that the messaging is consistent, either in English or in Spanish, depending on the pitcher. But it's not just Staumont. At least for now, the Royals shortstop, second baseman, and center fielder will also have a receiver in their hat so that they can anticipate before the pitch comes in. And what they will all hear is Pedro Grifol's voice audibly saying, for instance, fastball up and in. So everybody, at least up the middle, knows what to expect.
Yeah, and yesterday, before the workout, he held a press conference, and he spent a majority of the press conference talking about that device. Mike Matheny, I'm sorry, and explaining that, trying to explain it to us about technology and how it's, continued to try to improve the game to keep from signal stealing and things of that nature. But the reasons the middle infielders and the center fielder want to know what's coming is because they can get a head start on a pitch, and they know whether to favor one side or the other, and sometimes that can make a big difference. As an infielder, you always would read the catcher's signs and you would know what was coming. Nowadays, this is a new device this year, you actually can hear the pitch and know exactly without having to study. That's big, because you always, as a middle infielder, had to try to see the signs first of all. You see Salvi keeping his legs closed, but he's not even giving any signs anymore.
Three and two on Straw with Kwan at second base and a 1-1 tie. And that's fouled away. Now, Mike Matheny also discussed yesterday, Hud, the reverse, where there may come a time where the pitcher, someone like Zach Greinke, who has a lot of experience and knows what he wants to throw, that he's the one making the calls, and therefore the catcher is getting the audible pitch, and that the home plate umpire then is going to have a role there, because if it's too loud, then the hitter could hear what pitch is coming. So they'll use the home plate umpire to let the catcher know that if more than just the catcher is hearing what's going to be thrown. So there's a lot of things to be worked out. There's a little and you can see it right there. See that little sliver on Salvi's helmet? Go back up again. You see that right there? That's the receiver that eventually, now right now Salvi's sending the signs, but eventually, as we're told, that Salvi at some point can also hear the suggestion of the pitcher if he has a transmitter.
Just missed. Staumont wanted that one. Pretty good location, but you got to be careful with Straw with already 2 hits in this game. That's a good spot. Too bad he didn't get it.
So both base runners have reached by way of a walk. And now Rosario, who's 1 for 3 with a line out, which resulted in a diving play by Nicky Lopez, which saved a run. And he also had some adventures out in left field back in the 5th inning, which led to the Royals' run. Down and away, ball 1.
Some more technology that I'm looking forward to is the umpires going back and getting the microphone and explaining the replay and what happened. And that's going to be very interesting, and it was needed on a few certain plays.
Two balls and no strikes.
You know, most of the time we can figure things out here, but there's some occasions where we're like, well, I'm not sure what they're trying to replay here, and it was a mystery to us and all the people. And so, you know, the other sports have it, and it happens, and they go right to it, and the referees.
Crack bat, and Mondesi will make the play, so the 2 walks are stranded, and Cleveland is scoreless in the top of the 7th. There's a strike to Carlos Santana. Just scan the code on the screen and get your tickets. You can also visit Royals.com/mini-plans for details. 0-2 on Carlos Santana facing Tristan McKenzie. It's 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Jose Ramirez drove in Miles Straw in the 4th, and Nicky Lopez drove in Hunter Dozier in the bottom of the 5th. 1-2 on Santana. He has popped to first and flied to center. McKenzie came on in relief last inning and got the Royals in order. 2-2. That would remind you of some important games and years around here.
That's right.
Winning those games in the later innings, hanging on to leads in the later innings.
Gotta have a pin to win, hold them down.
Three and 2 on Santana. Carlos had a 789 OPS in the first half, 500 in the second half last year. Fighting that hip flexor strain. That'll be out of play. A very popular player amongst the fans and teammate in Cleveland. He's in the top 5 in all-time home runs in Cleveland history, top 10 in doubles, and only Jim Thome has more walks than Carlos Santana in the history of the franchise. And there you go, a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 7th inning. Time for a message from Jungle Law.
So how'd it go?
DUI dismissed. State couldn't make their case.
Prime time. Let's roll.
That's the first walk given up by a Cleveland pitcher today. And now Hunter Dozier. And Dozier puts a bunt down. Hedges will throw to second, and Santana is out. Austin Hedges is a tremendous defensive catcher. So Santana is out, and Dozier will be at first with 1 away.
Boy, you know what? Dozier just couldn't get enough of the bat on that ball to get it out there in time, but a great job. And instead of taking the easy out, Hedges just trusted his stuff, if I could use that for a catcher, and he just unloaded, threw a perfect strike down there just in time. That's a big pick-me-up.
So why bunt, you say? And that question always comes up, and I don't know the exact reason, but McKenzie is a tough pitcher to face, and these are not the best hitting conditions right now, with wind, shadows, sunshine. And so Dozier may have gone up there and said, what's the best thing, what am I most confident in doing right now to help the team?
Yeah, and it's a good effort. Hedges made it a better play, but the sun on the right side of the diamond is really going to be a key.
And yeah, to your point, I'm watching Kwan in right field. This is what makes it hard for the hitter. The pitcher is in the shadows. The backdrop is in the bright sunlight. But look at Kwan out in right field. When the pitch comes in, he's got his hand in front of his eyes. I mean, he can barely see what's going on.
Yeah, you hit a line shot at him, you know, he has no chance.
2-1 on Mondesi.
The elements of the game. That's the first thing a big leaguer sees when he comes out on the field. Wow, okay, it's windy. Wind affects the game more than anything else. Sun, number 2. And you got both of them now. Wind already had a factor early in the game. The Royals were able to get on the board.
Mondesi pops it up. And it's a long run in for Mercado. Rosario's going out, and Mercado slides on his knees and makes a tremendous play.
What great focus and concentration by Mercado, the left fielder. This ball was going to fall in there for sure. Rosario said, hey, look at him. He's calling it all the way. And that was great focus there. Dozier was halfway, so had he dropped it, he would have been able to get it into second base there. Experienced left fielder makes a big difference.
You know, Taylor's thinking about a bunt. You know, another part about that play, watching the replay, which adds to the difficulty of it, he runs from the sunlight into the shadows. So the ball, you think you have a beat on it, and then you run into the shadows, and then the appearance of the ball completely changes in the sky.
It's all about the focus. He did a great job of concentration. Running full speed.
There goes Dozier. Taylor takes high, and Dozier is going to be out at second base. The Royals will take another look just to be sure, and they will not challenge. So nothing is made of the leadoff walk, and now at the end of 7, we're still tied at 1.
Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery back for another season out in left field. Monty, battle of former Cy Young Award winners. How did it play out for you?
I would say pretty much exactly what we would have predicted. Now, hopefully, it's going to end up exactly what these fans want to see, and that's a Royals win.
We got a lot of fans out here, a lot of wind, and hopefully a win to talk about. We'll hear from Mike Matheny and much more coming up on our first Boulevard Royals Live of the year. Ryan Hutt.
All right, guys, here are the numbers from last year's Royals Pitcher of the Year, Scott Barlow. And he could be asked to go more than 1 inning today, which he is capable of doing, and the Royals have an off day tomorrow. And he'll get the middle of the order: Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, and Owen Miller. Or Oscar Mercado, that is. Ramirez drove in Cleveland's run with a double against Greinke in the 4th inning. That scored Miles Straw.
Barlow, very reliable. Good hard fastball, mid-90s, slider, curve, mixes all of them. So, you know, he'll throw any pitch anytime. He has good confidence and good command with his secondary pitches.
3 balls, 1 strike. Pulled into the netting. 3-2. Royals have had a tough time with Jose Ramirez, like the rest of the league, but they pitched him well last year. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez hit just .188 against the Royals last year in 19 games. He had 36 home runs last year, and he pulled every single home run.
Yeah.
Down on strikes, and a good start for Barlow. 1 down in the 8th inning.
Way to come back there after falling behind. 3-1. Blue KC pitch track shows you, boy, perfectly located pitch. Took a lot off of a slider that really didn't do a whole lot, but the change of speed had him out in front. Excellent start to the inning.
Backup slider?
Yeah, they'll call it. That's what they call that. But you know, sometimes it's tough to get the grip. It talked about how cold it is and how tough it is for pitchers to grip that leather baseball. That leather's hard.
And now Reyes pops it up. What will the wind do with this one? Mondesi runs across the grass and makes the play. You know, we told you earlier that Cleveland just dominated the season series with the Royals last year. They were 14-5 with the Royals, but it's not like the Royals were out of every game. In fact, in the Royals' 14 losses to Cleveland last year, in 10 of those games they had a lead. Right field, and Witt to the line, across the line, and he's got it, and then slams into the tarp. And it's a battle of the bullpens again today. The Royals have played a good defensive game, and we're tied to the bottom of the 8th.
Outstanding focus. Way to get in the game.
By Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. And by Chevy. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. A 1-1 tie, and that's been our score since the bottom of the 5th inning. Tristan McKenzie is on for his 3rd inning of relief. And he'll get Taylor, Lopez, and Merrifield. Nobody is warming up behind him. Michael A. Taylor is lined out to left and popped to short. Those at bats were against starter Shane Bieber. He gave up 1 run in 4 2/3 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nicky Lopez drove in the Royals' run in the 5th inning. Jose Ramirez drove in Cleveland's run in the 4th. Outside. Check with our production team in the truck. Have HUD or I said Indians yet today?
I don't think so. You just did. First time. Way to go. That was intentional.
Yep.
Good job.
I tried to prepare myself last year by saying mostly Cleveland.
Yep.
But after 106 years as the Cleveland Indians, they are the Guardians for the first time. That is low for a leadoff walk, and that's a leadoff walk in back-to-back innings.
The Blue KC here for good highlight. Nicky Lopez, you better believe it. That diving catch right there saved a run. And then what's he do? He comes up and drives in a run. A beautiful, well-placed double. Brings Hunter Dozier in, and there we are. We're standing 1-1. Nicky Lopez doing it on both sides of the ball.
And with a great attitude all year. I mean, this is a guy who did not deserve to be moved from shortstop based on what he did last year. Didn't deserve to be moved down in the batting order.
Right. Oh,
look out.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's not the right time to square around there. Boy, that pitch is coming right at you. When you're squaring around, it's tough to get out of the way, but excellent job by dodging that one. Four-seamer coming up to you. Eye high. Watch out. Royals trying to do the little things here to get him into scoring position. That's all they need. Get him on, get him over, get him in.
And bunted well to the right side. Chang underhands to Jimenez. 3-4, and that gets the go-ahead run into scoring position with 1 out.
Nice job making sure it gets down. Chang with an excellent job of coming and getting it like that and shoveling it over. It's a good thing to see. Their second baseman covering first base, that was proper right there. He got over it just in time. Now let's see if multi-hit Witt can make it a multi-hit day.
Fastball at the knees at 92. Witt had 13 go-ahead RBIs last year. Tried to go the other way, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. He was the only major leaguer last year to start all 162 games. And he was just the 5th major leaguer all time to start and lead off all 162 games.
Yeah, you know what? Every year he's going to give you a couple of wow moments. You're like, really? That's really hard to do. I mean, it's tough to keep yourself in that kind of condition.
And McKenzie took something off of that pitch and strikes him out. And now it'll be Bobby Witt Jr. with a runner at second and 2 down.
There it is, a beautiful floater in there. Just left it out over the plate, but way out in front of it's Witt. Now let's see if Bobby Witt Jr. can get his first major league hit at the right time.
Down and away, ball 1, and all the cameras are up so that people can prove that they were here and they saw it in person.
They want to see that go-ahead run cross the plate.
Line to left field, into the corner. Base hit number 1, RBI number 1. And Bobby Witt Jr. gives the Royals the lead in the bottom of the 8th.
Welcome to the big leagues, Bobby Witt Jr. You just got your first big league knock with a stake attached. Crowd liking it here at Kauffman Stadium, chanting his name like he's a superstar.
So 2-1 Royals. It's their first lead, and now Bobby's going to end up at third base. McKenzie had been so good leading up to this HUD, but in his first at bat against McKenzie, Bobby hit the ball hard.
Sure did. Now he got one up. I mean, that was letter high, and he was able to hit it off the end of the bat, but well located. Michael A. Taylor is going to just drop this one home, as the crowd really enjoyed that moment. So did Bobby Witt Jr. and his family that's in the stands. Congratulations. You're a big leaguer.
And now inside on Benintendi, 2 balls and no strikes. Benintendi goes back to the middle, and the Royals lead by 2 in the 8th inning. Bobby Witt Jr. adds his first major league run. And a bottom of the 8th inning he will never forget.
Timely and well done. Oh man, you know, now all the pressure's off. He got his hit. Benintendi picked him up right there to come home and score a run in the same inning. It's a beautiful thing. McKenzie just throwing that four-seam fastball right there in the middle. Benintendi just right back up the middle. Good swing, nice and controlled. The crowd feeling good.
You know, most of the time the hitter's just trying to see a ball and hit it hard in an area, and that look right there, like Benintendi took a swing going for that exact spot on the ground right side of second base.
That's sure. He's a professional hitter. Witt Jr. coming through for his team in the crowd.
Blocked by Hedges. Ball one on Salvi. He is 0 for 3 with all 3 outs in the air. He had a major league leading 121 RBIs last year. Third best in Royals history for a single season. Only Hal McRae and Mike Sweeney had bigger RBI totals in one season. Michael was on the field today with George Brett, receiving a ceremonial first pitch from Art Stewart's family. Salvi pulls it foul.
Great to see them always, especially on opening day. And you know, Art Stewart, the respect and love the organization has shown him over 50 years as scout for the team. One of the greatest storytellers in the history of baseball. Honored with his name, his signature on the sleeve of the Royals this year.
Two balls and one strike. Here's the patch on Salvi's sleeve, and Art had one of those classic beautiful signatures.
Legible,
almost like a machine had done it.
Yes, very neat. You can read his name, you know exactly who he is.
High in the air, Chang goes into foul ground with the wind still blasting, and he's got it. But the Royals get 2 with 2 outs. Bobby Witt Jr. gets his first hit, his first RBI, and his first run scored. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Royals 3, Cleveland 1. Bobby Witt Jr. has the go-ahead RBI and then scored an insurance run on a base hit by Andrew Benintendi. And Scott Barlow, who figures to get a lot of saves for the Royals this year, is going for the win. He pitched the 8th, and now he stays on for the 9th. Yu Chang, Stephen Kwan, and Austin Hedges are coming up. Those are at least the scheduled hitters. And it's 0-2 on Yu Chang. He is 0 for 3.
Man, how important is an insurance run late like that? That's so huge. Right now, the situation 2-1. If it was 2-1, one-run game, you'd be a little bit nervous about that, but you can breathe a little easier. Benintendi coming through, knocking Bobby Witt Jr. home. Yeah, he did.
1 down in the 9th inning. That's Barlow's second strikeout.
Blue KC pitch track shows you. Look at the break on that ball. That's off. Chang was guessing a little bit, had him out front, couldn't check his swing. He's out.
Stephen Kwan takes a strike after showing bunt. He's making his big league debut. He grounded out in the 3rd inning, and he has walked twice.
Tell you what, for Terry Francona to start this young man today tells me that Tito loves him, this kid. He's had to do something in the spring to impress Terry Francona to give him the opening day nod, that's for sure.
No balls and 2 strikes. Don't forget the MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Kauffman Stadium. You can buy and manage game tickets, unlock offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. That got Salvi on its way back to the screen.
You know, if we count those foul tips off of Salvi all year, I think people would be shocked.
All right, well,
just shocked.
Let's go. Let's make you in charge of that this year. That's one.
Okay, this is first
that
game
we're aware of,
and thankfully it's the only one so far of the game. But you know, and we talked about last year. You know, 161 games played. Some of those were DH, but how many times have we seen him take a foul tip and hang in there and keep going? And then to put the season up he did last year, this is what makes it amazing. And for him to be 7th in MVP was a disgrace to him, in my opinion.
You can see that looked like a bump on the side of his hand there. That's not where a catcher usually gets hit, but it was the area between his glove and his wristband on his glove hand.
How many times when we see him take a foul tip and one of the head athletic trainer or any of them come out, he always thanks them for coming. Thank you for checking me out. So well thought. This guy, you know, is just off the charts, the human being he is.
Late swing and a foul, and Hud told you when Kwan came up for the first time, he's a tough strikeout. He's got that old time label, slap hitter. I haven't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, and you know what? He just has a knack to put his hands on the ball with the barrel and stand straight up.
Elevated fastball is pulled into right field, and that is the first big league hit for Stephen Kwan.
There it was. Barlow said, all right, you're going to mess around. I'm just going to throw you a high fastball. And there it is. We talked about it, how he just pulled his hands in here and he has the knack to barrel. One of the reasons his manager got him to start. Congratulations, Stephen Kwan. You are a big leaguer.
Fouled away by Austin Hedges. Remember, day off tomorrow. Don't miss Price Chopper Royals Live Saturday at 2:30 with a preview of Brad Keller's first start of the 2022 season. He'll be going up against Zach Plesac in another 3-10 start. 1 ball, 1 strike. And while we're talking about Royals Live, we want to send our congratulations to producer John Harvey. He and his wife Audrey had their first baby, a little boy named Graham.
Yes.
So they're back in Maryland right now enjoying some family time together, and that means our good buddy Casey Carter is back producing Royals Live.
Oh, outstanding. Congratulations, guys.
Hedges hits it to right, and Witt is there for the second out. And now the fans who have sat through a cold, windy, rainy, sometimes with sleet, a few flashes of sunshine, but it's been otherwise the type of day you'd expect on the other side of the parking lot. 28,459 stand and cheer as the Royals are 1 out away from their first victory of the year.
Proud of this crowd. Most of them have stayed.
That is outside to Andres Jimenez. He is 0 for 3. 1-1. And now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's great to be back, Rhino. So good to hear the Royals fans chant, "Let's go Royals," and a well-executed game so far. 1 pitch away.
One and 2 with 2 down. And it's grounded into right field, so the tying run is on. Kwan will go first to third. And Andres Jimenez gets his first hit of the game.
Slider not doing a whole lot. It stayed in the middle. Jimenez is able to get it by Santana. It's tough to get a good break today. Hard to get a grip.
And now Cal Eldred is going to go out for 2 reasons. Just to give Barlow a break. This is Barlow's 2nd inning, by the way. And it gives the bullpen some time to catch up as he'll be making his 25th pitch. Dylan Coleman is warming up in the Royals bullpen. Chatting with bullpen coach Larry Carter, who's going through the lineup and getting him prepared for who he might face. Miles Straw has been on base 3 times in his first game of the season. He has 2 hits, a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored, with a tying run at first base and 2 down. And Barlow drops a breaking ball in for a strike. Fastball is just outside.
Home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy's had an excellent game. He's been good. Hardly mentioned his name, maybe 1 time. That's it. They tell me, don't, you know, a good game is when you don't mention our name.
And now 2 balls and 1 strike. And Straw fouls it away. And for the 2nd time of the inning, we're down to 1 strike away from the Royals' first win of the year. And a called 3rd strike over the outside edge. And Mike Matheny and the Royals have their first win of the year and come from behind fashion. And Bobby Witt Jr.'s first major league hit is a game-winning hit with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th.
Ding, 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 ding. Way to go, Scotty boy. Nice work to shut it down. Fantastic work. Now he got that breaker to work. Look at Salvi frame it up. Ball game over. The Royals are on top. 1-0. Excuse me. They got 1 win. They're up and feeling good. Look at the skipper. Look at the passion. every game. Bobby Witt Jr., congratulations on a big first hit. That's exciting. Benintendi with a nice insurance RBI. Well played, well executed.
I imagine he's going to be summoned over to chat with Joel, and I know our fans watching on television want to hear from him, and some of the fans are already standing and with all their attention toward Joel near the first base dugout, and that's exactly who we're going to chat with as the Royals win it 3-1 at Kauffman Stadium on opening day. Joel.
Well, we just got a sunflower seed shower, which is better than ice on this day. How about Bobby Witt Jr.? Welcome. Welcome to the big leagues. What do you think?
Oh, it's incredible. I have no words. It's awesome.
You know, they tell you this is the game you've always been playing, but I don't know if you've ever played a game like this. I had to do it. Sorry about that. It'll be the first of many, hopefully none as cold as this. But what do you think about life in the big leagues one day in?
I love it. The fans are awesome. Teammates are awesome. It was great. Even though the weather was a little tough, but look at them. It's awesome. It's amazing.
They had the Bobby chant going right as you reach up and smack that double. Take us through that. Were there nerves at that point? Did it just feel like another game to you?
Yeah, it's hard to have nerves when you got all your teammates rooting for you, all the fans rooting for you, so it just felt like any other game. Just went up there, just trying to get the guy in from second, and luckily did the job.
I feel like a lot of people have been saying we've been waiting forever to see Bobby Witt Jr., and I feel like you probably have thought the same, but yet you're only 21 years old. How long, what age do you think you started dreaming about these type of moments?
As long as I can remember, maybe 5, 6 years old. I always stood in front of the TV just trying to be like, oh, I want to be like that guy, whoever it was. But now we're here, so I'm just going to try to stay up here and try to help the team as much as I can.
Couple final things. First off, as you walk out and as you experience the ceremony and getting out there, first at bat, how were the nerves?
Honestly, I had more nerves last night, and today it was nothing. It just felt like another day at the ballpark, so it's great.
You have been telling us you're totally comfortable at third base, even though you're a shortstop. Take us through that play, because you look like you've been playing Gold Glove third base your whole life.
Just all the preparation that went in during spring training, the staff getting me out there, early work, and then just knowing that you got other guys behind you that could fill the position too. You got Monty right there, can make plays too, so it's great.
Your dad told me this morning this would be much more meaningful than his debut in 1986 when he was a 21-year-old pitcher for Texas. What did it mean to you to have your mom, your dad, your family here?
Oh, it's awesome. They're up there in the suite. Yeah, so it's great. I got no words either for that.
Sisters taught you everything you know, right?
Oh yeah, the sisters, the 3 sisters, the older ones.
They're loving that. Go enjoy it, go warm up, and remember that when you go to Starbucks next time, there'll be a lot more people wanting to take selfies. Congrats.
Thank you guys.
Bobby Witt Jr., everybody.
Well, the question has come up many times. Can you remember someone beginning their career with this much hype? I don't know, maybe. I don't remember one answering the hype like he did today.
Oh, he was right on cue.
We'll be right back.